people often are worried about high prices and they talk about inflation, or the other way around. The president, as he was running for office, did something deeply irresponsible. He didn't promise to get inflation down. He promised to get prices down, which he's fundamentally failed to do. No price is falling. I mean, not none, but the average price level is overwhelmingly higher than when he arrived. There's nothing he's done to bring the price level down. In fact, the single best way to bring the price level down would be by starting a recession. So the promise was irresponsible. Fortunately, he didn't follow through on it. I don't know how often you can say that. That's COVID. So the COVID inflation disappeared, and basically we were on track for, as that disappeared, inflation to come back down to normal. And it got down to about 3% round about the election, and we were just waiting for the last mile. Just think of the movement from 3% to 2%. I want to point out both 2 and 3 are pretty low, as in it's not an overwhelming part of my life. If you remember when it was 9%, it felt angrifying, which is the word I just made up. We were on track for it to float back down. The president arrives, starts a trade war. And all of a sudden, when you tax other goods, turns out you make them more expensive. The president, by the way, has spent 1.5 years denying that. And then this week said, I want to respond to the cost of living crisis. I'm worried how expensive beef is, so I'm going to cut tariffs on beef. Which, by the way, is the most profound, most direct acknowledgement that they all knew all along that they were raising prices. Of course they knew that. The whole point of tariffs is to raise prices. If you don't raise prices for foreign goods, you don't create extra demand for domestic goods. So that's been a big part. So that's been a big part of the story over the past 1.5 years. Now, I'm going to bore you even more. Sorry, Susan. I just get excited about this. There was a period through 2025 where I'd go on shows like this and people would say, well, inflation's not that high yet. And the reason for that is they instituted tariffs and then they immediately turned them off. If you remember Liberation Day, 7 days later, we got unliberated again. And then we went and did 0 out of 90 deals in 90 days. And then the president gave himself a bit more time. And then he had a nap and then he woke up and he redid the tariffs. And so actually the tariffs are moderately new. And so they've now been feeding inflation through late 25 and early 26. And those inflationary pressures were still there, but we're hoping they'd start to fade out. And then we decided if you were elected on a platform of bringing down prices on day one, the first thing you do is bomb Iran, forcing up energy prices. Sorry, this is America, and I have to be clear when I'm being sarcastic. So you shouldn't bomb Iran if you want to bring down energy prices. Let me get that clear.
Wish we had known that 10 weeks ago.
I blame sarcasm for the situation we're in.